Good morning. This is Robert Goodman for Positive Stroke, staying clean, and I'm so happy to be here. And I had just made this video earlier, but the sound did not go through. So I don't understand why. But that was live, just like this is live. And so I'm going to have to try to delete that, and hopefully this one will work. But I'm having issues with my internet and situations. So bear with me until I can get this fully resolved. Today, I wanted to talk about accepting our failures, accepting my failures. I learned in recovery that I am a faulty person. And when I look back at myself, I've made mistakes my entire life. When I was a child, a young adulthood, until now. And also, I learned that I am not perfect. Then I learned that you're not perfect. You make mistakes. The difference between me and another human being about making mistakes is I accept that I'm a faulty person. I accept that I make mistakes. But the formula for that is I must learn from my mistakes. I should not be ashamed of my mistake. I should feel bad, yes, but I must learn from my mistake. Because if I don't learn from my mistakes, I'm doomed to repeat the mistake again. And if I'm ashamed of the mistake that I made, then I'm going to do everything in my power to hide that mistake because I don't want nobody to see that I made a mistake. There are people that will point the finger at your mistakes to hurt you, to hurt your feelings. There are people that share that they like you, but they don't like you, and they make you feel like you don't belong, that you're less than. They focus on your mistakes, the choices, bad choices that you've made for yourself. But the interesting thing is, they don't focus on the mistakes they make, they hide their mistakes. They don't want nobody to know their mistakes because they're ashamed of themselves and the mistakes they've made. But the formula to not feel that way is to accept that you will always make mistakes, to accept that it's my job to learn from Robert's mistakes, and for me not to be ashamed about my mistakes. I must share my mistakes with others so they don't make the mistakes that I've made, and the shame disappears. But I don't want nobody to know what I did. Keep that a secret. I don't want nobody to know how stupid I was. How can somebody else call you stupid when they make mistakes themselves? They may made a mistake worse than what you have. The only difference is they're keeping theirs under wraps. You're not. But I learned that when I hold on to the mistake that I made, that I don't learn from it, that I don't share about it, so other people don't make that mistakes, then that pain and that shame stays with me. How can I get better if my past mistakes are rooted deep inside me and I haven't plucked them away like weeds from the inside? It's very important that we understand that we're faulty. So we shouldn't feel ashamed. We just made bad choices. Why? Because of feelings and emotions and when we thought that was good for ourselves. And it's that simple. But once we learn that it's not, and we change our behavior and learn from the mistake, we become better. That situation doesn't hold us hostage anymore. We're not lying and conniving to try to keep it under wraps. And when I do, I live that stuff rent free in my head over and over and over again. And then the mistakes, the new mistakes add into that and then intensify the situation. I know. I lived in active addiction for 40 years. I was stubborn for 40 years because I chose to do it my way. My way. All I had to do was, Robert, your way's not working, so you need to try a new course of action. And it's that simple. They say recovery's simple. It's just complicated because of complicated people. But I like to make it a little, say it a little differently. Recovery's simple, but we're hard headed. We want to do it our way. We want to prove that our way works better than not just learning from the mistake and moving forward. I don't want nobody to know what I did because they're going to look less down of me. They're going to look down at me. They're going to be ashamed of me. They're going to be hurt. They may, they may be because maybe you did it and the situation hurted them, but they don't know that you was involved in that situation. But I learned having acceptance of my actions and how it affects others, the things that I've done. I learned from that experience. And if a person doesn't want to forgive me, that is on them, not me. If they want to hold me accountable for the situation over and over again, that's their choice. But the interesting thing is, they made a lot of mistakes themselves. They have mistakes that they're ashamed of, that they don't want nobody to know. So, how can I judge you when I'm just as faulty as you? How can I judge you just because you're just as faulty as you? You know, I remember I was me and the gentleman. I was head of the security, and we was in this private plane, and we was going to California, Washington State, Seattle, city of Seattle. And one of the people that rode with us, they was well off, rich, and they had the news on one of the TVs that's in the private plane, and it was talking about the homeless situation. And the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "How disgusting they live like that. They don't have no respect for themselves. I couldn't even do that." They was judging a person's circumstances the way what they saw. But the interesting thing is they don't know how they got there. So as the conversation was going on and on about this homeless situation, and they was focusing on these people, come to find out that they was sexually abused, they was forced in the foster care system, where they were sex trafficked, where they escaped to the streets to save themselves from the harm that was being done to them. And the only relief that they received that they thought they was getting was for using drugs. They felt safe being homeless because their trust system has been violated by people. But she was looking down on them because they was homeless. Because the first scene that she seen how bad they was, and the reporter for the story was talking about their homelessness. So she jumped to the conclusion like they deserved to, they wanted to be there. They created the situation. But as the commentary person that was talking shared information of what had happened to them, the bottom line is they was discarded. They was treated like things. They wasn't treated human. And their only survival that they thought they had was the streets because people failed them. The system failed them. But she didn't look at that. How can we judge a person unless we walked 1,000 miles in their shoes? Are you focusing on people's failures to make yourself look good? To present yourself a certain way? These are things that's something to think about. But the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter that you made a bad decision. What matters is correcting your situation about the decision. Learn from the decision and understand that you're a faulty person just like everybody else. So you should not feel ashamed. What you should feel, oh, I need to learn some more. I done hit a roadblock. I better do my research. I better check this out because I don't want to make another mistake like I just made on the same issue. So let me do some work on that. Then there's no shame. Nobody can throw mud at you. If they try to throw mud at you, well, you without sin cast the first stone. You ain't never made a mistake. You ain't made a bad mistake. You never made, do we have to dig on your history? The mistakes you made? Do we want to do that? Don't want that because you've been hiding your mistakes. You don't want nobody to know. But I don't care because I'm as sick as my secrets. That's what kept me in my active addiction. I was stubborn. I was in active addiction for 40 years, trying it my way because I would not accept no sound good information that would help me. I didn't try to learn from my mistakes. I just tried a different method doing the same thing. Some people think that just because I have money, property, and prestige, that it doesn't matter, that I'm okay. I can hide my mistakes. I'm okay. I'm living well. But you don't grow if you don't learn from your mistakes. You don't grow if you don't change your behavior. Real simple. The money may not go nowhere. You'll have pockets full of money, but your decision making, that's another story. So the point I'm trying to make is make your failures be your strength. Make your failures, share them so people don't make the same mistake that you've made. Or they can learn some information that'll help them from not making that mistake. And the interesting thing is that real friends, true people that care about you will tell you the truth, not buff your ego, not go along with your program because you're doing it. If it's something that I don't agree with, I don't do it. I let you know that's not a part of my life. Your course of action is on you. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. It doesn't mean I don't care or I love you. It's just that what you're doing right now, what you're attempting to do, I don't want to have no part of it. And I'm standing on what I believe. But if that's what you want to do, you have the right to make a good decision or a bad decision. It's your life, your way. Recovery taught me to dig deep in myself and learn from the bad decisions that I've made. Recovery taught me to share them with others so they don't fall victim like I did. And by me doing that, I don't have no shame. I don't. I don't have no shame that I was molested at a young age. I don't have no shame. Why? Because it happened to me. It was done to me. I didn't cause it to happen. Someone took advantage of me as a child and did me that way. So I'm sharing that with another human being. When I'm sharing that with you, I'm letting you know that I'm taking the shame away from it and putting the blame where it needs to be for the person who did it to me. It's not my fault. I was manipulated and used at a young age. So I hope what I shared with you makes you think and say, I'm going to make my failures my strength. I'm going to take the shame away from my failures by sharing it with others so I can help other people not make the mistakes that I've made. I'm sharpening my learning tool so I can make better choices today and tomorrow by keeping the focus on myself and the choices that I make. I hope what I shared with you makes you think, make you understand that you're the most important person to yourself. And what you do for yourself is entirely up to you, where you living your best life. It's up to you to make the changes you need to do for yourself so you don't have to carry on guilt from past mistakes that you've made in your life. That you've learned from them, you've grown, and they're not an issue anymore. So when somebody throws it in your face to hurt you, it doesn't sting. It just shows what they're trying to do to you. This is Robert Goodman of Positive Strokes, wishing you a great Wednesday. And I hope this video and this information that I shared, that everything taped it well and was good. I'm having internet issues and download issues. And it's interesting. I'm learning a lot about the negativity of Wi-Fi and positive and all that and all that. So I hope that in upcoming videos that all this situation we won't have these problems anymore. But I just repeat my videos, this live, so it's not going to. They're not going to. The story, the subject is going to be the same, but how I deliver it will be different because all my videos are live. I do not sit down and write a script. I don't follow a script. I take the information that I've learned from the heart to you. You have a great one.